My first step in developing a broadband action plan for Copperton was to talk to community leaders and community anchor institutions to understand what they needed from a stronger, more reliable internet. I asked them, what does the community want from its internet connection? The first community anchor institution I spoke to was the Copperton Memorial Hospital. Dr. Peggy Amberson and her staff have wanted to start a telemedicine program at Copperton Memorial Hospital for over 5 years. The benefit to the community would be far-reaching. It would allow me to treat patients much more quickly, Dr. Emerson said in our interview, and with a higher degree of personalization. Oftentimes, transportation problems or other factors prevent patients from going to their doctor. Telemedicine allows the doctor back into their home. I immediately understood Dr. Amberson's thinking. Copperton is spread out across a 30-mile area. Having telemedicine services in the case of emergencies for volunteer paramedics could save the lives of those citizens who live in these outlying areas. Additionally, Copperton does not have a resident psychiatrist, licensed social worker, or counselor, even though 19% of Copperton citizens have a diagnosed mental illness, and Dr. Amberson thinks as much as 16% more have an undiagnosed mental illness. The second community anchor institution that I spoke to was Copperton Independent School District. I visited the K-12 school to get an idea of what the Copperton teachers and educational staff want and need from the internet. I found several common themes throughout our visit. A common theme throughout my discussion with the faculty and staff was this idea of competing with urban counterparts. Teachers recognized that their students need certain skills to compete with urban students and referenced the Partnership for the 21st Century Skills, which is a national organization advocating for 21st century readiness for every student. It fuses the 3 R's, reading, writing, arithmetic, with the 4 C's. Critical thinking, creativity, communication, and collaboration. Many of the teachers voiced concerns that students are not hitting the benchmarks for the 4 C's that they should be, that they don't even have school email addresses. The dream is to become a Google school, Principal Leanne Sullivan said. The 21st century student should be a student who can produce content, not just consume it, 4th grade teacher Mary Meeks said. But how can we expect our students to produce content if they can't even get online? The third community anchor institution that I spoke to was the Copperton Community Library. The Copperton Community Library services all 1,300 citizens, plus the migratory and transient working populations in the area, which as a professional librarian I was very relieved to hear. All members of the community are welcome to story times, programs for children and teens, book clubs, and computer classes. I talked to Margaret Coleman and Richard Tracker for most of an afternoon, getting an idea of why they had pushed so hard for broadband in their community. Both of them agreed that it would allow the library to become a research hub for the community it serves, help families living below the poverty line improve their marketable skills, apply for jobs in social services, and more, and offer citizens, especially children, the opportunity to learn about their world. Richard Tracker, the K-12 librarian, told me, "Before I came to Copperton, people warned me about working in rural areas, that they're internet black holes. I never realized just how much I depended on the internet for everything before I came here. The students of Copperton are at a huge disadvantage. When they graduate, they won't have half of the tech skills urban kids get with exposure to ICT. So what can we do? How can we bridge this digital divide? With community-wide broadband." Margaret Coleman, public librarian, echoed the same. "I want Copperton to have broadband internet because broadband is the only way to harness the true power of the internet. With broadband, my users can stream videos, upload podcasts, apply for Medicaid, and check out an ebook, all in the same trip. We just can't do any of that right now." After consulting with the 3 community anchor institutions in Copperton, I decided to consult with the business district to get their feedback on broadband internet. The businesses and municipal services that serve Copperton and its citizens are heavily reliant on internet connections. I interviewed several business owners who shared with me the importance of a stable, strong internet connection and what broadband could do for Copperton. spoke with Tom Spander, the CEO of Copperton Bank, who told me, most of the big cities use the internet for online banking. You know, where you can get online and check your balance or transfer money? The service requires a really strong internet connection, both at the bank and from customers' homes. If there's a kink in the system somewhere, it can cause all kinds of problems. We need strong internet to facilitate online banking. I want to provide the best service I can, but I can't with the infrastructure the way that it is. Tracy Marquette, the owner of the Easy Breezy Inn, told me that the lack of decent internet was cutting into her bottom line. One of the most important things in my business is having a halfway decent website. I've owned the Easy Breezy for just over a year, and it literally takes me 3 to 4 hours just to upload new photos of the rooms or the garden using my Wi-Fi. And forget about online booking. I might as well be trying to contact NASA. I'm all for the broadband initiative, and I hope that you'll be able to help us and get the project off the ground. Troy Smith, the CEO of Smith Farms and son of the Copperton founding family, had a lot to say about the broadband initiative. Copperton is the jewel of Limestone County and one of the most charming, beautiful small towns in Texas. It's also got some of the best people working and raising their kids here. My great-great-grandfather wanted the best for this town, worked hard to make sure that everyone would get a fair shake. Seems to me that this internet business isn't a fair shake. It's causing an inequality where there shouldn't be one. I'm all for the internet initiative. As for my business, I can see how broadband would make my life a whole lot easier. Ordering supplies, getting the cattle ready for transport, and getting in contact with some of the auction houses for my wife's antique business would all be made so much easier with good internet.